The views expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of KLEK 102.5 FM, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council, or our underwriters or sponsors.
All right, good morning to you all out there. It is Thursday, December the 15th, and you're tuned into Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. I'm your host or co-host today with Will Hart, and I have Mr. Kato Wonder here. And
good morning, listeners.
We were supposed to have Dr. John Pratte, I apologize, from Arkansas State University. He's a professor of physics, and we're going to be talking about the STEM program.
Your mic isn't on.
My mic isn't on?
No, I can hear you.
Okay, we were supposed to be talking about the STEM program and how to recruit women and minority groups into the programs, and there's different things that are going on at Arkansas State University. Unfortunately, he's running behind, so we're just going to kind of give you some community events that are going on around town and just talk about some other things. So, Kate, I wonder if you have anything you'd like to start out with.
Well, of course, you can catch me today on midday with. Well, I know Road Notes was on midday. Mallory was filling in. I don't know if Mallory is still filling in for Diana or Diana will be back today. But anyway, you can check me out on midday at 11 o'clock on KAIT. Not really sure what we're going to talk about, but we have the date booked. So if you want to check me out, you can do that. And of course, tonight is the Black Professionals Network toy drive. I got to stop by and buy a couple toys on behalf of KLEK to donate to the cause. The Toy Drive is a event that the Black Professionals Network of Jonesboro does every year to help children have just a little bit merrier Christmas. In fact, we had Mr. Corey Mills and Mr. CJ Pepper on the show earlier. A couple of days ago, they were talking about the program and some of the things that the Black Professionals Network does. And the toys are actually going to go towards life strategies counseling. You know, some of their clients are people who are in financial need and may not can afford toys, and so this is just something that they team up to do to make sure those kids have toys. I don't have my phone with me, so if you can pull up the flyer, I guess on your phone, you can get the date and the date is today and the time and the place for that event.
Alrighty, so the place is Cobb and Company. Well, Cobb and Company is a real estate company, and so sorry. It's located in the Regents Bank. I want to say the 4th floor. Well, it's Suite 401. That's 2400 Highland Drive, Suite 401. The time is 7 to 9 p.m. tonight, and it's Cobb and Company Real Estate.
Okay, and then we have Coffee with a Cop today. That is going to be from 2 o'clock p.m. until 4 o'clock p.m. at Chick-fil-A. There'll be members of the Jonesboro Police Department. They will be there, and you can just mix and mingle with them, talk with them, sit down, enjoy a meal with them. If you have any questions or concerns, or if you just want to tell them good job, this is what I'm going to actually encourage people to do for Coffee with a Cop. If you go back Coffee with a Cop today from 2 o'clock p.m. to 4 o'clock p.m. at Chick-fil-A, I want you to sit down. These are for my people of faith out there. If you are a person of faith, I want you to sit down and pray with those officers, because our community definitely needs prayer. The officers need prayer, and we, the community, needs prayer. So that's going to be my little challenge to you all. If you're listening out there and you attend Coffee with a Cop, again, it's going to be from 2 o'clock p.m. until 4 o'clock p.m. at Chick-fil-A today. Then sit down and just have a quick prayer with the officers, and I'm sure the officers will greatly appreciate that. So we've got that going down today. And of course, on the KLEK front, since we're talking about events, of course, we got to talk about our own events.
That's right.
We got Blues Live for 5. I'm sure you've heard that. But that was my voice, by the way. But Blues Live for 5 will be this Saturday at Legends 1025, which is about to be remixed. If you've rode by there, you probably have noticed some changes. I don't know if Mr. Pratte is ready to let the cat out the bag yet, but there's some major changes coming to Legends, and I think you're going to like the major changes that are coming to Legends. So I'm going to just continue to say Legends 1025 for now. But it's going to be Saturday, and it's going to start at 8 o'clock p.m. So you'll have plenty of time to watch the Cure Bowl. By the way, go Red Wolves. The Cure Bowl is going to start at 4:30, so you can watch the Cure Bowl, watch the Red Wolves get that W, beat UCF. And then after the game, you can make your way to Legends 1025. This is something unique. I mean, I know a lot of people are saying only $5 to get in for a concert. That's right. It's kind of like our way of giving back, giving you some affordable entertainment. That's right. We're going to have Mr. Lerone Powers coming all the way from Dallas, Texas. And of course, you probably have heard some snippets of his songs during the announcement. And of course, you can hear his music in full on the Saturday morning tailgate. Well, he's coming all the way from Dallas, Texas to perform just for you. And it's only $5 to get in. And that $5 actually helps to keep your KLEK KLEK on the air, because all of our events are KLEK fundraisers. So once again, it's Blues Live for $5 this Saturday at Legends 1025. $5 admission. You probably never will ever see a concert that low again with this caliber of talent. So you definitely want to check that out. And of course, if you ride by, you're wondering where'd the Legends 1025 sign go? Well, the sign is no longer up on the building. Like I said, there's some major work being done on the building, so there's some major changes coming to Legends 1025. But just look for the KLEK van. It will be parked outside. And I will say this, because you can actually ride out there and see it. There is a gigantic barbecue smoker on the side of the building. In fact, you may even see some smoke coming up out of it. So just look for the barbecue smoker on the side of the building and look for the KLEK van. It's Legends 1025 going down this Saturday, 8 o'clock p.m. It is Blues Live for $5. So you all be sure to check that out. I gotta catch my breath for a minute, and I'm actually supposed to be doing some work, but since our guest didn't show up, I'm actually having to run my mouth.
Well, I have two announcements, and these are hiring events, or for those of you who may be looking for work, and these are actually from nonprofit agencies. The first one is from Goodwill. They're having a hiring event today from 10 to 2 at the Goodwill Center, which is located at 1515 South Caraway Road. Goodwill is hosting a hiring event for our Jonesboro location. Open part-time retail positions, 15 to 25 hours per week, will be filled. Bring your resume, state issued ID, and social security card. Must be able to pass a drug screen. Background check is required. For more information, contact Chioma Ota, 870-268-0443. Again, Chioma, Chioma. That I'm probably murdering their name. I apologize. Last name Ota, OTA. 870-268-0443. Again, this is for Goodwill. They are hiring for retail positions, 15 to 25 hours per week. Bring your resume, ID, and social security card. And you must be able to pass a drug screen and a background check. Also, from another nonprofit agency, this is from the KLEK County Extension Office. They are accepting applications until today. Basically, they're hiring a program assistant for the FNEP program, which is the Food and Nutrition Education Program. Please contact Ms. Jerry Nelson. Her and Malia Cook were on our show 2 days ago, representing the Extension Office. Her phone number is, well, I don't have her phone number to the office, but you can email her. J Nelson, NELSON, at uaex.edu. That's J Nelson at uaex.edu. Again, this is for a program assistant for the KLEK County Extension Office to do their nutrition programs. They're trying to get someone hired before Christmas so they can get them trained. So if you're interested in working, and it is up to 40 hours per week. Sorry, I don't know the rate of pay, but Miss Jerry will be happy to give you all of that information. Or you can go to Facebook. There's a link to go to the application if you need help finding that. Okay, so another announcement. The Martin Luther King Parade Committee, they're gearing up to start practice for their community choir. If you're interested in joining the choir, their first practice is this Saturday, the 17th. I don't have the date right on hand. The time. It's at New St. John. I apologize for that.
Oh, you're talking about the community dinner that New St. John is hosting?
Well, no, this is for the Martin Luther King parade committee.
The MLK Parade Committee.
They're starting up their community choir.
Oh, okay. So I know Dr. Scales had sent us an announcement about the planning meeting. I'm not sure if that is already passed or if that's coming up. I know that's at New Mountain Zion. It's in our community calendar, but more information is available, just via Reverend Dr. Ray Scales if you just want to know any more information about the upcoming Cricket County Martin Luther King Jr. Parade.
Yes, and the time is 2 p.m. for this Saturday at New St. John if you would like to join the community choir for the MLK Parade Day. And they're also starting a dance team for the kids. All this information can be found on Facebook on the Cricket County, I think it's the Cricket County MLK Parade Facebook page. But also, as Legacy mentioned, there is a dinner this Saturday hosted by New St. John, and it's going to be at Parker Park Community Center. And I'm trying to get the exact time for you. I apologize, I don't have all of these.
Yeah, this is what happens when when you don't have a guest. Sometimes you have to
just wing it.
But it is all good, and it is going on. Shout out to all of our faithful listeners of KLEK 102.5 FM. Shout out to Mrs. Norma Farrell, who always listens. She can't always call in because she's babysitting the grandbaby, but we know Miss Farrell is listening. So shout out to you, Mrs. Farrell, and shout out to everyone else that are listening. Shout out to our sponsor. We know we just picked up a new sponsor, so shout out to Jonesboro Trent. Well, I don't have my phone with me as well, but I believe it's Jonesboro Transportation, and I don't know where my phone is in my. I need to pull my phone out of my coat. So.
Okay. We have a phone call.
Is that Miss Farrell? I don't see the caller ID.
I can have my glasses on.
All right. Well, let's see what we got.
Good morning.
Right.
Good morning. How you doing?
Hey, Miss Farrell. We're just talking about you.
Yeah, I heard you. Look, I was calling to see, and hello to all of the listeners, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everyone. I was calling to see about the toy drive. I got the end of it, I didn't get the information of where it's going to be and what you need to do.
Okay, it's going to be at Cobb & Company Real Estate. It's a real estate company, and it's located in the Regions Bank building on the 4th floor. In suite.
Okay, on the 4th floor.
It's suite 401.
Okay.
And it's tonight from 7 to 9, the social. Now, if you don't make it tonight, you can always drop your toys off here at the radio station. Oh, that's one thing I forgot to mention to all.
Well, actually, Miss Farrell, are you gonna be at your house around about 10:30, 10:40?
I doubt it, because my husband's at therapy now, and I got to go pick him up, so I doubt it.
Oh, I see.
But I was thinking about going to the social and just socializing with him and taking a tour.
I'm talking about the radio station. I guess just walked in the studio, so
okay.
I'm about to
okay, how long the radio station y'all gonna be open today?
We'll be here pretty much until about lunchtime, and then Allie will be in later today. But anyway, I'm gonna get off the air and let our guest take over.
Okay, well I'll get out there before lunch.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. I'll be calling y'all.
Okay, bye-bye. Alrighty, thank you, Miss Norma. Okay, so anyone who wants to drop off toys tonight, 7 to 9 p.m., Cobb & Company Real Estate Company, Regions Bank Building, 4th floor, Suite 401, 7 to 9 p.m. All right, so my guest just showed up for today and I was really looking forward to this topic today, so I hope we can get as much information in as possible. Dr. John Pratte,
you got it.
Okay, Dr. John Pratte from Arkansas State University. He is a professor of physics.
Sometimes. I like to say free-range physicist.
Okay, yeah. Free-range physicist. And you're from the college. Please tell me the name of the college.
College of Sciences and Mathematics.
How can I forget that? Okay.
Well, that's all right, because sometimes we say science and mathematics. We leave the S off. We're
okay. Not sure. So science and mathematics. All right, so thank you so much for joining us today. I'm sorry.
I do apologize. It's been one of those days already, and it's amazing that when finals come in, all of the fun stuff, you have to start finding everybody and getting their grades in. So.
And I really appreciate you, because I know it's finals and I know it's crazy, and you have students probably asking you 100,000 million questions, and you're like, okay, we had all year to do this. So anyway, without further ado, we're going to get right into the topic for today. And I'm really excited about this because I'm kind of a math and science geeky nerd. So,
All right.
But I didn't excel. I didn't make straight A's, but I love this topic. So anyway, please tell the listeners and viewers a little bit more about yourself and, what role you play at Arkansas State.
Okay, so I'm the Dean of Sciences and Mathematics, which basically means my job is to try to make the road smoother for students and for faculty so that they can do what they do best, which is... At Arkansas State, it's changing. It's changed a lot. It used to be you'd sit in a classroom. Somebody would talk a lot, somebody would write a lot, and then we'd ask you at the end of the semester, could you please tell us what we told you earlier this year, and then did you do it well? But we're getting out of that. There's been a really major change in the last 10 years, especially at Arkansas State, to getting the students, as we like to say in the college, get their hands dirty, which is the best way to learn is to learn by doing.
Yes,
so
sir.
Let's get you in the lab. Let's get you in the field. So we've got students now going everywhere. We've got, we do have them in the lab. We've got them in the library, but we've got them. Let's see, we've got a student in Nepal. We've got about 3 or 4 that are down in the Caribbean. I ran into a student yesterday who's going to be going to South Africa, and I don't know that we have anybody in Australia yet, but I know one of our faculty is there, and he'll probably be taking some students there to a place called Lizard Island. I don't. That's got ominous tones to it, like it's Lizard Island. It's what lives there. Yeah, so.
Oh goodness! And so, are these students going to implement some of the things they've learned in the classroom?
Oh yes, ma'am. That is the key. They're taking what they've learned, they're going out there, they're applying it, and really enhancing that classroom knowledge, by being able to put it into use. And then they come back, they're writing papers, they're getting published, and they're going to conferences. So basically my job is to make sure that there aren't that many barriers to that. So it's like this past year, for about the last several years, we've been pulling in about $3 million a year in grants to help do research and stuff. And just a couple of months ago, same week, wasn't same day, but same week, we got about another $5.5 million in grants, and almost all of it is scholarship money to pay students to do research. So a lot of opportunities out there.
That is wonderful. Well, I don't want you to get too deep into that right now because we only have 2 minutes left in this segment. But let's talk a little bit about the STEM programs. I know some of what you're going to be talking about is trying to help recruit, just increase the numbers of women and minorities into the STEM program. First, tell people I know it is, but tell people what STEM is.
So STEM's the acronym that gets thrown around now. It keeps changing with time. It used to be I forget, SMET. I think it was SME, and then they realized SMET didn't spell anything, so they changed it to STEM. But it stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics.
Okay.
So it's kind of the geeky area.
Okay.
And so, a lot of research has been done. We're still having issues with retaining and attracting women and underrepresented minorities to STEM. And it's always, well, why is this happening? And sometimes the college level, it used to be our deal was, well, the K through 12 system isn't bringing them to us, and we can't attract people who aren't there. But again, over about the last 10 years, it's been, well, maybe we need to help the K through 12 system, help foster that love of STEM disciplines and get them here. And I think Jonesboro has been very proactive in that. When you look at like Jonesboro High School with the academies, they have a STEM academy.
Do they?
Yes, and they're doing, and they're teaching things in the class that you never saw in high school when I was in there. I mean, like they have engineering classes in high school. Yeah, it's always been, well, you got to wait until you get this far in math before you can do engineering. But no, they are doing great things, and we're starting to see that, at Arkansas State, a lot of really good students coming out. So.
That is wonderful. All right, so hold that thought. We're going to get more into the STEM programs and how Arkansas State is trying to, or is working with the local school systems to get those students more involved in science and math and engineering. So you're tuned in to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. Please do not go away. If you are a science and math geeky nerd, this show is for you today. So we'll be right back with Dr. John Pratte from Arkansas State University.
You're listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We'll be right back.
When you were a child, were you always being told to stop slouching and sit up straight? I'm Mark Merrill with today's Family Minute. If your mom nagged you about the importance of good posture, she knew what she was talking about. Good physical posture can have positive effects. The same thing is true in relationships. Good relational posture is also important. For healthier relationships, start with a posture of humility. Humility acknowledges that you need other people and not just to do what you want them to do. Humility recognizes other people have strengths and insights. Humility listens rather than just lecture. Humility seeks advice and counsel from others. So bring a posture of humility to your relationships. And remember, your family first.
For more resources on today's topic, go to markmerrill.com.
Family Minute is made possible by the Kappa Nu Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, a nonprofit or committed to service to all mankind. Kappa Nu Omega Alpha Kappa Alpha on Facebook.
Blues live for 5 at Ledges 1025. Only $5 admission. Saturday, December 17th, 8 o'clock p.m. Featuring from Dallas, Texas, Lerone Powers.
What's the name of that thing you told me last night?
Lerone Powers.
And is the mother, but don't you get caught. You're gonna have to pay the cost.
Performing all of his hits.
Ain't nothing but a party.
Lerone Powers. Don't miss it. Blues live for 5 at Ledges 1025. Saturday, December 17th, 8 o'clock p.m. Only $5 admission. This event is a KLEK fundraiser.
Support for KLEK is brought to you by
Tax Time is here at Car Today, the original buy here, pay here dealer. New Car Today General Manager Sean Corns.
With new inventory available daily, whatever you're looking for, we've got it.
Located on Stadium Boulevard just south of the 63 bypass, Tax Time is the time to drive at Car Today. Car Today.
New St. John Missionary Baptist Church, 308 North Main Street in Jonesboro, is under the direction of Reverend Ted T. Taylor Sr. Worship services are Sundays at 11 o'clock a.m. Sunday school is on Sundays at 9:30 a.m. Prayer service is Wednesday nights at 6:30, and Bible class is on Wednesday nights at 7 o'clock p.m. New St. John also has the Men of Standards Ministries, Outreach Ministry, Choir, Youth Ministry, Dance Ministry, and Missionary Society. www.newstjohn.org. New St. John Missionary Baptist Church on Facebook, 870-932-6915.
Do you like the music you hear on KLEK 102.5 FM? Do you like the educational programming that we provide? Do you like the service we provide to the community? Do you like having a station to finally call your own that represents you? If so, please stop by or call any of our underwriters or sponsors that you hear on KLEK and tell them thank you for their support. The support of our underwriters and sponsors is vital for us to stay on the air, so be sure to let them know that you thank them for their support.
And now back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.
All right, welcome back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM, and I am really excited to have my guest on the show today, Dr. John Pratte.
Got it.
Okay, from Arkansas State University. He is the Dean of the College of Science and Mathematics and also a professor of physics sometimes.
Yeah, it's sometimes.
All right, so we were talking about the STEM program, well, what STEM is, which is science, technology, engineering, and math.
Right.
Or mathematics. So now we're going to get into talking about, okay, why there's a decrease, a decrease of women and minorities in this program, and then how Arkansas State is really trying to help increase those numbers overall, not just in Arkansas, but nationwide,
Right. And some of this goes back to, some of it's long-lived. It's just, we've never done a good job. And as scientists, we always think, well, things are logical, things are this way. You're either in or you're not. You're not. There's also some, in the past, there's always been sort of this arrogance, like, well, science isn't for everybody. This is really tough stuff, and only the few. It's kind of like the Marines, the few, the proud. We get through there. Okay. That's it. So you've kind of historically had those issues, but we've been working on them for a long time, and we're still seeing data that it's like, well, it's not getting any better, or it's we got a little better, but we're still kind of here. So what's the issue? And at Arkansas, in the college a couple of years ago, we started a academic resource and tracking center, so that we had a one-stop shop for students. If you needed to be advised on what classes to take, you go there. Okay. You needed tutor, you go there. Okay. If any of that, you needed to get some help on taking the MCAT or the GRE or the ACT, you go there. But we also started tracking our students and sending them surveys and looking at how they progress. So it wasn't just, give me a list of all the people who are majors this year. Okay. It was, we knew who the list was. Okay. We've got the list. And what we started noticing was that, the idea was, well, people aren't staying in STEM because they're just, they're failing, like they're going to make Fs. And then we looked at the list of students, and we started noticing, no, that's not it. We have students who have like a 3.9 GPA or a 3.8 GPA, and they were leaving the college. Oh. And we were going, what's going on? Why are you leaving? Is it us? Did we say something? And in some cases, it was a bad attitude, or we said something the wrong way, or we didn't explain ourselves that well. But what we also found is there's this, and it's pretty well studied now, this thing called the imposter syndrome. And the imposter syndrome is you don't really feel like you belong, And if you really don't feel like you belong, like, yeah, I'm a fraud. I don't think I'm that good a scientist. There's everybody else in the room's a better scientist than me. The first time you end up getting just, a little bit of a bad grade, it's, that's it. There's the proof. I'm a fraud. I'm gonna leave. And this happens in all aspects of our lives. Yes. When we're in an uncomfortable situation, you've never been there, you're like, I don't belong here. At the first sign that, you really shouldn't be here, you leave. And some of that is we realize we're not having the deep conversations with students, because these students are very good. Mm-hmm. But what they're thinking is, these other people, they're better than me. And what they don't know is, no, those students are just as lost as you are. They're just as good as you are. And so we started having those conversations with students about, like, no, you're good. Just because you made a B in general chemistry doesn't mean you can't be a chemist. We've all made a B. I'll be honest right now. I made a B in physics lab, mind you, my first semester. You're not supposed to, a lab, everybody makes an A in lab.
Okay, like I took chemistry my freshman year, and I did great in the lab.
Yeah.
But the class, oh my gosh, no. And then, like, when you were talking about how we have this imposter syndrome, in high school, I was in honors classes. Oh, we have another caller. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, how are you?
Oh, I ain't doing too bad. How you doing today?
All right, and what's your name?
Oh, I'm Charles Miller. I was just calling to make an inquiry.
Okay.
Yeah. How much will it cost to do a broadcast message?
Okay, I need to get you to our station manager, Mr. Leganzi Kell. If you would...
Give him the business number.
What is that number?
203-9951.
What do you say? Okay, sir, I'm going to give you the business phone number to contact the station manager. And he just spit it off and I didn't catch it. Give me just one moment, sir.
Okay.
It's 203.
203
9903
9951.
9951.
9951.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What's his name?
Leganzi Kell.
What's his name? I couldn't.
Just tell him to call the number. You gotta go.
Mr. Kell, Kale.
Kale. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Alrighty, sir.
But you were saying you were in chemistry and.
Yeah, I didn't do so well. So I did feel like, because when I was a freshman, my first time going to college, I was like, I want to be a pediatrician. So I knew I had to take a lot of science and math. But that chemistry class, it kind of like, I don't want to do that.
and that is a common issue. We see a lot of students that first semester or even that second semester, they're doing very well, but there's just one little part of it that might be missing, or they go, that's it. And so it's an issue of education, not just what's happening in the classroom, but of just sort of the system in general. You know, I mean, we're not all born into this system, and in fact, a lot of our students, they're like me. I mean, I was a first generation student. My parents didn't go to college. My mother eventually went back to college later, but you know, I was kind of in there on my own at a large university, and it's like, well, is that how it's done? I don't know. And when you're not familiar with it, you don't know the ins and outs, and you don't know what you can do and what you shouldn't do, then, you know, the comfort level's not there. And that's what we're starting to find, that a lot of it is, you know, we haven't really created a sense of home for students. And that's kind of what we're doing now, what we've been working on for the last year. We're getting a little help from the federal government. In fact, we currentely have a project that we're doing. It's called the Bridge Project, and it's with UAPB and Philander Smith.
Okay, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Call. Good morning, caller.
Okay, good morning. Good morning to your guest today.
She said good morning.
Good morning.
Hello?
Good morning.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
What? Yeah, I can hear you now. I'm going to address a question and it was just this morning, I listened to Memphis News, and they were doing an editorial. A guy was, I can't think of his name, on Channel 3, and they was talking about just what you're talking about. It was about math. And when I was in school, which was a long time ago, it was people that they called, they were good at math, and people that were good at this and good at that, and they kind of surfaced in and zoomed in on those people, and the ones that weren't, whatever you was good in, that's what you did. And that's what they would kind of guide you toward. And I was glad to hear that Jonesboro High is reaching out to students, and they have some kind of programs going, because I have 2 grandchildren in the school system at Jonesboro High, and it was a conversation that my daughter and my grandson, they were over visiting me just a couple days ago, and he plays basketball, so he has to keep his grades up. and he probably kind of like his grandma, not that good in math. So she said that when we get home, we're going to have to get on that math. And I was just thinking, that math has always been challenging to a lot of people. And I wish it was something that we could get them at that age, like you were saying, in the junior high or even starting in pre-K, that would make them want to do math.
Oh, yes,
and, even they have an app on a phone that they play with to do different things that's exciting. And I don't know what that would do, because math was not exciting to me. Geometry, when I heard the word, and physics and stuff like that, I didn't want it in my curriculum because I was not good at it. But you shouldn't have that feeling. You should have something that can attract you to wanting to learn that, because it's so much needed in our world.
Oh,
so that was just like my comment, and you can elaborate on that a little bit if you want to.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Norma.
That's an excellent comment. I mean, that is so true about the problem that we've had, because a lot of STEM, we put math at the end, but it really should be at the front, because in a lot of those areas, it's so mathematically intensive, and this is what keeps a lot of students out of chemistry, out of physics, out of engineering, which is they just don't have the good math background, and it's like, well, I'm lost, and we see that and it's something that we're working on. We've been working on trying to improve our math curriculum and give students a little more help along the way, but it's a problem of if you don't get kids involved in it. It's kind of math is a language.
It is.
And it's a language that if you learn it very early, or you at least use it very early, later on you don't have as much problem with it. But when you wait too long, and so that's why it's critical that we work with the K through 12 to get those students prepared.
And I would love to see more families take more time. I understand life happens. I understand some parents have to work 40 plus hours a week, and you don't always have that time to sit for an hour with your child to go over their work. But all of the burden cannot fall on the teachers.
Oh, yeah.
It has to be something going on at home. And with all this technology that we have, again, the T of STEM, there's a gazillion apps out there. And we don't want the kids to get so dependent on technology, because we want them to still be able to do math, longhand, paper and pencil. Yes. But if that would help them get the start they need to get more comfortable. I'm an advocate for buying books for Christmas. So I'm sorry.
Well, no, we're on the same page. That's mine too.
So I like to find books that incorporate a variety of topics that help get the individual's mind to open up and expand and just go beyond the literal, the here and now. So there's some ideas out there for somebody.
Oh, I know. In fact, I just finished a book by Nate Silver on statistics.
Okay.
And how there's so much of our life that we don't understand is governed by statistics. And when you read the book, you're like, I never, I mean, even I'm a physicist, and even I went, I didn't know that. So I agree, and it's one of those points sometimes when we go to new technology, we forget about the unintended consequences. Like when I was growing up, we didn't have calculators. I mean, they came along at some point, but we didn't have them, and so there's you had to have the times tables memorized, and you had to just at a moment's notice, what's 5 times 6, and we stopped teaching that, and what we're finding out is there is some value to kids memorizing, even though it's not, we often go memorization isn't good. It turns out it helps make those connections in the brain that help you later on. So if there's anybody out there who's going, I've got flashcards with the kids, don't worry, it'll work out.
Okay.
It's good. You don't always need the technology. Sometimes even the old school paper and pencil still works.
All right, you listen to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We're speaking with Dr. John Pratte of Arkansas State University, and we're talking about the STEM program. We're talking about how to increase your kids' desires, how to get them into the science and math, technology, engineering, how to get them more into those programs, and how to nurture that gift from the beginning. That's the key thing, nurturing. If you see a child that shows an interest, it's about nurturing that gift. They, like you said earlier, they may not be the best yet at it, and everybody can't be Albert Einstein or Nikola Tesla.
You said it better than I can never get his name right.
I actually watched a documentary one night.
Just go with Nikki.
Tesla. Yes, I'm letting my geek side come out. But anyway, we can't be them. We can't be Albert Einstein. But, you never know. You may can. You may surpass whatever he did in his lifetime. But it's just about nurturing that gift early on in life. So, parents, if you see your child tinkering with things, having an interest, don't shut it down.
Oh, yeah.
Nurture it, encourage it, find them books on it, take them to events, find something that's going to help increase that love for that thing, whatever it is.
Yeah, and the critical thing is we're in the Christmas season, so it's a little bit, as you point out, books are not bad. Things that they can play with are good, but summertime is also critical because a lot of research out there showing that students get out of school, it's summertime, I've got 2 months off, and if they disengage from tinkering and doing the math and everything, when they come back the next year, it's like we just lost that year. Okay. It needs to be constant. So even during the summer, make sure they've got stuff that keeps them engaged, And that's maybe where the flashcards do come in. Okay. Make a game of it. Okay. They'll get it.
And we have a regular guest sometimes, Dr. Marty Allen from the museum.
Oh yeah.
And they're constantly having various exhibits, and those exhibits, whether the kids realize it, they're fun, but they're also educational as well. So find something for the kids to do that's going to, again, nurture that gift, that talent, or whatever that child may have. Let's switch gears and talk about, okay, we talked a little bit about why there's a decrease in women and minorities. One, that they feel like because they're not as good in it, they slowly fade away from the programs. Okay, so what can be done to possibly, or what steps is ASU taking to try to?
So like I was saying before, we've right now got a partnership with UAPB and Philander Smith, and the idea is it's kind of it takes a village, and where as students come in, we get them at whatever institution they're at, working with an advisor on doing science, and then we try to sort of cross-pollinate based on their interest. If there's a faculty member at one of the other institutions that sort of is a leader in that, get them working with them, so both they and their mentor will work with that faculty member on a research project. And the idea here is trying to increase the numbers of women and underrepresented minorities that go on to get a master's degree, to go on and get a PhD, because the problem we have, one of the issues is there are not enough role models out there. It's very clear, but I will say this, it sometimes feeds into the imposter syndrome a little bit, in that we need all types of role models, because if I show you the person who made a 4.0 the whole way and they just knocked it out of the park, that helps promote the imposter syndrome, because it's like, well, as a woman, I've got to make 4.0, and if I make a B, I can't make it. And as I said, we have a lot of people like me, a white guy who screwed up along the way, that students go, he screwed up. I can screw up and do it, but we need all kinds of models out there so that people can see, oh, you can take a different path. You don't necessarily have to go this path. There are multiple paths.
All right, so you tune in to Community Conversations and join us. We'll be right back with Dr. John Pratte with his comment. It's a good segue into a movie that's coming out next year. So we'll be right back. So don't go anywhere.
You're listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We'll be right back.
We're back with Money Matters. I'm Alfred Edmond Jr. Determined to get rid of major debt settlement might seem like an easy out, but there are many risks involved. If you're considering hiring the services of a debt settlement company, get as much information as possible about the process. Before you sign on the dotted line, here are some key questions you should ask. What are your fees? Most of the fees should be based on performance and results. If fees are based on a percentage of the debt and not tied to results, this is a big red flag. How long have you been in the debt settlement business, and how much debt have you actually settled? If the company cannot demonstrate experience and a proven track record, keep it moving. Don't take their word for it. Check independent sources such as the Better Business Bureau and the National Foundation for Credit Counseling. I'm Alfred Edmond Jr. for Money Matters, a product of American Urban Radio Networks.
Money Matters is made possible by the Jonesboro Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, a nonprofit organization dedicated to uncompromising commitment to communities, service, leadership, empowerment. www.jonesboroalumnidst.org.
Experience the joy with Bishop Adrian R. Rogers of Fullness of Joy Church, 3307 Race Street, Jonesboro, Arkansas, 72401.
From the KLEK Community Calendar, the Jonesboro Fire Department will offer free smoke detectors. The City of Jonesboro acquired grant funding to provide smoke detectors to any home. The detector must be installed by Jonesboro Fire Department firefighters. More information on getting a smoke detector installed in your home is available at 870-932-2428. 870-932-2428.
Did you know KLEK has a brand new streaming app? That's right, you can listen to KLEK 102.5 FM anywhere in the world. The app is available for all Android phones and tablets, as well as iPhones and iPads. Just search your app store for KLEK and download the KLEK app for free today. And don't miss a beat of the education, entertainment, and empowerment on KLEK 102.5 FM.
And now back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.
All right, you're tuned back into Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We were speaking with Dr. John Pratte from Arkansas State University. We're talking all about the STEM programs and all things science and math and engineering and technology. I just got all that out of order, but okay. And so before we went to break, Dr. Pratte was talking about, people need to have role models. When they're going into certain fields, they need to see people who look like them, who think like them, who act like them, that are successful in those fields. And we're speaking specifically about women and minorities. And so there's a movie coming out next year called
Hidden Figures.
Hidden Figures, and it's about these African American women who played a vital role in the NASA program. These women were mathematicians, and during that time frame, as you know, women in general were not looked upon highly. But then for African American women to play a big role, like that was major.
And as we were saying, I always thought of myself as a sort of space geek that, anything about NASA or anything, I studied it and stuff. I didn't know this story, and it's not a well-told story, and I'm glad that it's getting out there. I haven't seen the movie, but I've read the reviews, and it's great to see, because you're right that we oftentimes in these stories we look at who was the leader, and that's the person who got all the fame, but science isn't done. This perception that science is done by people in caves individually or sitting in the lab late at night doing it, that's not a reality. It's always a team approach, especially today. No one person has the eureka moment. Okay. It's a team of people working together that develops that eureka moment.
That's right. And what I would like to encourage, I have a group of female author friends, and like I write poetry, but they write other things. And so one has really dove into writing children's books. One was inspired by her son. He plays a sport, but I would love to encourage anyone who has a love for writing and you have a love for another subject, say such as science, math, engineering, whatever, take those two loves and put them together. You never know how you can inspire a young person. One, they're reading, but then they're reading a cool story about a kid who's doing something. They're like, okay, I can do that as well. So children need to see more books and more things. We don't want to pop them in front of a TV all the time, but if there is a good movie out there that's going to help open their mind up to want to study math and science. We don't realize how important these subjects are in our everyday life, though. I'll just say this from the African American community. There's a big push to do sports, but these kids can do so much more than just sports. But along with the sports, take that and teach them the science and math of angles and trajectories.
Oh, yeah.
And, teach them how to use algebraic equations when they're trying to figure out a good shot for basketball. So there are ways to incorporate, science and math into something that's fun as well.
And you know what? I think we can even improve your sports if you understand. I've had football players in my class before, and we started talking about center of mass and forces, and I always try to throw it out like, when you're blocking somebody, how do you block them? Okay. Do you stand up tall or do you get low? Do you try, and we talk about levers and that's you're right. It's everywhere in your life, and you really need to understand these issues, because if you don't, you're not going to be as good. But one of the things I wanted to go off on that you had said that's excellent, which is a lot of times we also don't show what are the diversity of skills and careers that use science. Okay. And so you were talking about being a writer and people writing. That's been one of our focuses as well over the past 2 years is we need people to be able to not only do science, but we need people to be able to write science and relay that to the public. I mean, we've got some very critical issues out there, in terms of do we use more oil or should we go solar? Is the climate changing? Is it getting hotter? Is it getting colder? And these are difficult issues. And so it's better to have a writer who understands the science than trying to teach this science to a writer. We've actually set up a program, and we're hoping to finalize it in this next year, that there will be sort of a science writing certificate that students will be able to get. They don't necessarily have to be science majors, but if they go through this, they'll get that experience to be able to write about it, because that's what we need. We need people who are able to take that and then go write these screenplays, like Hidden Figures and stuff.
Okay. I would say sign me up, but I don't know. Again, I don't know if I'm quite ready. Because I'm a social work major in my heart. I don't know. But I find myself Googling and reading articles about something science related. I love, trying to figure out how things work, what chemicals are in what, why this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
I don't know. And
yeah, especially when you're eating food and you read that back label and you're going,
what is that?
What is benzoate? Why am I eating benzoate?
And then going to cosmetology school really helped open up my mind because I had to learn about the chemicals that are in the products that I use in my nails and my hair. So that helped to open my mind up.
Well, you know what? One of the favorite questions I like to ask my students is like, "Well, have you check the back of your peanut butter?" And they're like, "What?" I said, "Go check it. Do you see silicon dioxide on there?" And they're like, "Yeah. What is that?" And it's like, "That's rock. It's ground up rock." You know. So.
All right, well, this show has gone by too fast. We're going to have Dr. John back again. I love talking about all things science and math and technology.
I'd love to come back, and next time I will make sure to show up 30 minutes ahead of time.
All right. Well, you have been tuned in to Community Conversations, so don't forget to check out the holiday social and toy drive tonight, 7 to 9 p.m. Everyone, please, and don't forget to go by Chick-fil-A for a coffee with a cop.
Thank you for listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM, a program focusing on the people working to